Hello and Happy New Year. Welcome back to everyone who has come back to my podcast from last year, and hello to anyone who's new or who joined me over Vlogmas. My name is Stacey and I live in the southwest of England in Devon with my 3 beautiful daughters and my husband, and this is a podcast about knitting mainly, sometimes some crochet or some other little bits of craft that I can sort of throw in. You can find me, so I should just say I've changed, you might have noticed there's a change of name. So I was Stacey J. Lou before, sort of in the end of November, but I thought that was a bit of a confusing name, so I've had a change. So I'm now called Heartmoor, and that's where you can find me on Instagram. I'm still Stacey J. Lou on Ravelry. I haven't looked to try and change that yet. I don't know if I can, but I'll have a look. But yeah, I live really close to Dartmoor, and it's a space. It's a place that's really special to me and my family. Some of my children have names that are from Dartmoor, so it's a place that's very special to us. So I thought Heartmoor was really appropriate name. So I hope you like it. Today is Saturday the 9th of December, and I should know that because it's my dad's birthday today. Not that he's watching, but happy birthday, Dad. And as you can see, well, you might be able to tell, I've been relegated to the bedroom. We are in another lockdown in England, or the whole United Kingdom. But we are in another lockdown, so we've already been out for our daily exercise walk this morning. So the rest of the family are all in the house, but they're downstairs. So I've come away, shut myself in the bedroom. So hopefully I won't be disturbed and you won't hear too much noise. I can't do this during the week because I'm a key worker. So during the week I am either at work, and I am going into my workplace, so I'm either at work or I'm at home homeschooling on the days when I can work from home. So I haven't got a lot of opportunity to do this during the week, so weekends it is. And yeah, I hope you're all staying safe and well. We don't seem to have, I think we're quite lucky down here where I live in Devon. There haven't been as many cases as in other parts of the country, but I'm sure it's all coming. So, yeah. And apologise for my well, I'm not going to apologise for it. I've got badger hair. I haven't been to the hairdressers for a while, and now they're shut again. So it'll either be a home job or wait for the hairdressers again. I don't know. Okay, so knitting content. I've got a few little bits to share. I've got a couple of FOs, not too many because it was a really busy December, because we were allowed out in December. So we did go out as much as we could, just to take advantage of the situation before the inevitable lockdown happened again. So I've got a couple of FOs. I've got some whips. And then at the end, I think I'm going to talk a little bit about, I've seen this on a few other podcasts, but talk a bit about sort of reflections and intentions for the next year. So, okay, let's dive straight in. So my first FO was my Advent socks. So oh God, they feel so soft. I've got them on my lap and they're so soft. I bought the Yarn Badger self-striping yarn Advent. And basically it was two big gobstoppers and of yarn. And the idea was to knit a stripe a day until sort of Christmas Eve, and then add in your heels and add in your heels, toes, whatever, cuffs, whatever anyway. Whichever way up you're going, top down, bottom up. Yeah. But I couldn't do that. It's the first time I'd ever knitted on self-striping yarn. And I knitted one stripe and I just couldn't stop. So I knitted them quite quickly through Advent. I'll show you them. So here they are. They're really long, like Pippi Longstocking socks. Yeah, absolutely love them. And there's a lot more than 24 stripes here anyway, so I needed to do more. Can you see the sparkle? It's absolutely gorgeous. Sparkle in the toes and the heels. It really is a gorgeous yarn. So it knitted up really quickly. So I knitted 2 tubes because I was planning to do an afterthought heel. So I knitted up my 2 tubes, put on my toes, and then got scared because I'd never done an afterthought heel before. And I had these 2 absolutely gorgeous tubes like this with toes on. And I was so frightened to cut in and do the afterthought heel that I shelved them and put them to one side. And then it got to, it's a little bit of bobbling on them now, it got to the 23rd, so the day before Christmas Eve, and the children were out for the day, and I was just like, you know what, if I don't do it now, I won't be able to wear them on Christmas Day. And the whole point was that I wanted to wear them at Christmas. They were Christmas socks. So I did it. I found a few YouTube tutorials, watched them, and I did it. I cut in, I picked up the stitches, cut the yarn, and did a proper heel, and absolutely loved it. I found it a lot easier than I was expecting it to be. I'm not sure the fit for me is good. I have a really high arch on my foot, so the heel doesn't give me a lot of stretch, this particular heel. So while they fit fine and they were comfortable, for longevity and for like days when, yeah, I just think it will only be something I do maybe on a self-striping sock or something else where, yeah, I don't want to interrupt the pattern of the yarn. So it was easy and it was fine, got there, no problems, wore them Christmas Day. But yeah, it's not as comfortable as fit for me. I know there is it the Acorn? The Acorn Knits has released a pattern for a different type of heel for use with like self-striping yarns, where I think you rib the heel. I haven't seen the pattern. I've only seen a couple of videos on it, other podcasts talking about it. So I might try that. I've got some other self-striping yarn downstairs, so I think I might try that heel next time and see what the fit's like on that heel. But yeah, I was really pleased with those. And for those of you who have watched my other previous podcasts, I finished the socks for all the children. So on Christmas morning, I gave them they all opened their Christmas socks. And I didn't do any for my husband because I didn't get around to it. But me and the 3 girls, we were all wearing our hand knit socks on Christmas Day, and they absolutely loved them, and they've worn them several times since. So that was good. So I think I'll do that again next year. But I might start a bit earlier so that I don't feel like I'm rushing. And I'll do a set for my husband as well. So I've still got some Christmas yarn left over, so I might do a pair with those. I've still got some of this yarn left over. This, although I knitted it quite a long way, I still think I've got enough left to do a set, like a children's set of like Row City rollers of shorty socks. So I might do that. Yeah, so that's my first FO. Pleased with those. My next FO, and do I only have two? I only have 2 FOs. My last FO is also a pair of socks. And you've probably heard about the Rainbow Sock Chronicles that Lay Family Yarn and So Sweet Violet have collaborated together this year to sort of, it's like a year-long knit-along. So the idea is that you knit a pair of socks every month throughout the year. There is a specific colour theme for 8 or 9 of those months. And then the other months you can knit up your own colours to fit in with the rainbow that you've got. And Kelly from Lay Family Yarns is dyeing up colour palette packs specifically for the colours each month. So my plan is to buy, she's doing, I think, either a 100 gram, she's doing some 20 grams, and she's doing some 10 gram packs. Now I'm buying the 10 gram packs, and I'm going to plan to buy those all year. and knit up my rainbow socks throughout the year. And I'll just show you, this came in the post today. Sorry for the rustling, for the rustle, I like a rustle. So this is from So Sweet Violet. That's focusing, it's quite shiny and the light in here. And this is the pin badge for the Rainbow Sock Chronicles. Can you see that? So yeah, so I've got that, so I'm gonna put that on one of my bags. And I have finished my first pair of socks. Now, I didn't realise how quickly I could knit socks, and this could become dangerous because I cast these on New Year's Eve, and I only did like about 4 rows of the cuff on New Year's Eve, but I cast them on New Year's Eve, and I finished them Thursday, so I finished them within a week, and that was only really evening knitting. So if I can knit a pair of socks in a week, world's my oyster, isn't it? I can have a whole drawer full. They're so much warmer. I'm sure you all know if you've worn hand knit socks before, or wool socks, I suppose, but they're so much warmer than socks I've been buying in shops. Even my big thick walking socks that I buy aren't anywhere near as warm as my hand knit socks. So I think I just want to wear hand knit socks every day. So anyway, on to the January socks. Here they are. I have 2, both identical. Have any of them got errors in them? I don't want to show. I'm not perfect at sock knitting yet, so I don't want to show you one where it's a bit dodgy. Oh, let me show you this one. This one's nice. This side's nice of this sock. So the cuff, a slip stitch heel and gusset, and the toe, just a vanilla sock. I'm going to do vanilla socks all year. I'm going to do every sock as a vanilla sock. Yeah, and so these colours, so yeah, God, I don't know what I'm saying. The cuff, heel and toe was a 20-gram mini that I dyed myself. I don't know where the light's best over this side, look. So that's a really nice sort of variegated-ish tonal pink. So that's really pretty. And then these colours, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I used 5 minis from my rainbow palette pack. Where has that come from? Where I've knitted in the socks. It's come through to the other side. Sorry. Where I've sewn in my ends, one of the ends has popped out. I really hope that is just a popped out end and not a cut stitch. I think it's a popped out end. So yeah, so it only took 5 minis for me to get a sock that fits me. Maybe I would have gone up a bit higher. I have got more. I did have more of my pink yarn left, so I can do a higher cuff next time. I could have gone up a bit higher, but they're a really nice length, and they fit me fine. So the other 5 minis are going to go into another project, which I'll talk about at the end. Yeah, so my January socks, and the theme this month was pink. My January socks are finished. Next month the theme is dark pinks into reds, and then it's March is peaches, and Kelly's already got those for sale on her website, so I've bought those and they're on their way. So yeah, pleased about those. So my sock collection is growing. Be nice to have a pair of socks to wear every day of the year, wouldn't it? Not like, obviously, because I wear them more than one day, because the wool in the socks, they don't smell as quickly as other socks. I think I can wear them for maybe 3 or 4 days before they start. I think they need a wash. So yeah, that's all good. So whips, works in progress. I have a couple of these. So what should we start with? Oh, let's start with one that you've seen before. So these are I haven't made any notes today because it's just been a really draining week with work and homeschooling, and I just wanted to sit down and talk to people about my knitting, and didn't want to sit and make notes because it felt too much like work, homework, and I was like, I don't want to get another pen out until Monday. So I haven't got notes, so I can't remember what pattern this is, but I'll it's on a previous podcast. Anyway, these are my mittens. The yarn is called Acer and is by Blue Fern Yarns. It's not showing up. It's not as vibrant. I say not as vibrant. It's not as. It's a slightly darker pink than is showing up on camera. So anyway, yeah. So there's a calf and it's this beautiful, like fanny type pattern. I'll put one on and show you. These were on a previous podcast if you want full details, but yeah, really, really pretty. Love it. But I did one and then I cast on the second one straight away and made a mistake on the ribbing, so I had to rip it back. And then I made a mistake on the ribbing again and had to rip it back, and I gave up and I put them away because they were stressing me out. So I've started the second one and I have literally just done the cuff, the rib on the cuffing. So ribbing on the cuff. So I've just done the rib. See my stitch mark on my little cat, that's from Lana Boo. So I've just done that so far, so I'm ready to start the pattern repeats, but the pattern it requires a little bit of every round is slightly different, so it just requires a little bit of concentration. So I got as far as the cuff and I've put those down for a minute, so I'm hoping to carry those on this month. They're in my gorgeous bag from Moo and Mouse. I love this bag. So you have a name inside. It does. Moo and Mouse. And I don't think this is a Christmas bag. It's got squirrels on and they're wearing scarves, but you know what? I'm going to use this all year round. So yay to that one. And then I've got, oh, what next? Oh, I'll show you this because it's a whipping waiting. So I got this bag, I bought this one, I love this. It's called Just One More Row and it's by Lana Boo again. And I've got a little mushroom. I've got so many stitch markers and progress keepers in my advents that I can't remember who they're all from. I want to say it's Green Lambkin Yarns, but I really can't remember. It might not be, it might be someone else. So there's that one. And in here is the other minis for my from the Lay Family on palette pack. And these, so here's the other ones I've got left. Really, really beautiful colours. So there's a nice sort of fade going on there. And I plan to make a litmus cowl. So that should be good. Now it'll be a rainbow litmus cowl. So I'm going to use half the minis for the socks and half the minis for my litmus cowl every month. And at the end of the year, I should have a beautiful rainbow litmus cowl. I've got a little notions pouch in here as well. That was from my lovely friend Ollie and Bella. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? You can see on the back. So that was a Christmas present from my friend Cherie. So that's in my bag as well. So that's the whip in waiting. I'm just waiting for my other whip to be off the needles because I've only got one set of circular needles, so I have to wait for another one to be finished before I can start this project. So talking about that whip, which needles are waiting for my litmus cowl, with my advent from Vicky Brown Designs, I decided to make the Festive Cheer Cow. I won the pattern in a podcast giveaway from Bex Creates, and it's a really, really beautiful pattern. So I'll show you where I'm up to. I've put stoppers on it for the minute because I've used the needles on something else, which I'll show you in a minute. So it's quite long. So if let's start at the beginning. Let's work through. So you do a provisional cast on, which I haven't done because I really struggled with it. Gave up and just did a normal cast on and thought I'll fudge it. So next time I'll do a provisional cast on. Anyway, it starts with this little bit of pink. Then it goes through into yellow and you intersperse it. I've got interspersed it with like this dark grey. So I'm going through this advent is literally true to true to colour. So as soon as it came out the box in the right order, I've labelled them all, and it will be done in that order. And I'm up to there, and I've run out of the grey. That's it. That's all I've got left. And I still got, oh, where is it? I still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more colours to add in. It's a really quick knit, but obviously I can't do it without that. So there it is in all its glory. You knit it in a tube, and then the idea is that you join the tubes together at the end. So you join the tube together, and then you end up with a cowl that's, so the idea, it'll be twice as long, so I can put it around my neck twice. I nearly stopped at 12 and thought, well, that would be nice, but I've got 24 minis. Let's do a full advent. So yeah, the idea is that it'll either be long and drapey and you wrap it around twice for short. So I've ordered some more grey, so that's on its way, and then I can finish this. I can finish this cowl, and I can release my, whatever this plastic is that's the part of the circular needles. And then I need that for my litmus cowl, so I need to get that finished. But I'm really enjoying it. The colours are really vibrant. It was a really lovely advent. Yeah, a really good mix of vibrant colours. So, and this is in my bag from Jibberoo. I won this bag as well in a giveaway from This Nitty Life. She did a giveaway just before Christmas on her podcast, and I won this gorgeous bag. And does it have her name in anywhere? Oh, it does, look. Jibberoo Sews. That's a J. So, yeah, that's in there. Okay. Next, there's always more. Put those away, some things have fallen out. So next, I've been watching a few knitting podcasts, and I've been watching Inga of Knitting Traditions, and she lives in Norway, and she does some beautiful work with like rustic yarns and colour work and stuff like that. So as part of what I want to do this year, my sort of knitting intentions, which I'll talk more about in a minute, I want to do some colour work. So she's released a couple of patterns, and one of the patterns that she's released is called the Zigzag Cowl, and it's supposed to be colour work for beginners. So I had a couple of skeins of yarn that I got for Christmas. So West Yorkshire Spinners Colour Lab DK, and it's 100% British wool, reared, sheared and spun in Britain, so that's good. And I had a beautiful sort of proper festive red and like a slightly off white, and I thought they would make an amazing colour work cowl. So I downloaded the Zigzag pattern. It is a paid for pattern, and I have started, it's all rolled up on itself, so I'm trying to unroll it a little bit so you can see. Come on, come on, come on, come on. It's really hard. Okay, it's still not showing you very well. But anyway, basically, so I've done the cuff, or the ribbing, not a cuff, and I've done my first, so the fat one and the thin one is is a pattern repeat. So I've done my first pattern repeat, and I've nearly finished the second of the fat ones. There we go. Oh, it's so hard to hold it, it's just rolling all over the place. Anyway, so that's, yeah, I'm really pleased. My first attempt at colour work. It was a lot easier than I thought when I first started, and I've made a couple of mistakes at the beginning because you can see the pattern's a bit, where's the beginning? Yeah, there it is. You can see the pattern's gone a bit awry at the beginning down here. And that's because I didn't know how to hold the yarn, and it was all getting twisted and tangled up, and I was getting all flustered. So I watched some more YouTube videos, and realised that I should be holding the main colour in one hand and the contrast colour in the other hand, so I'm able that it's not getting twisted basically, and I'm catching my floats. Can you see? It's probably not the neatest at catching floats because, like I said, I've never done it before, and some of them are a bit larger or I've missed them, yeah, or they're a bit loose because, say, it's all new to me, but it looks fine from this side. I think that looks pretty good. So yeah, so I'm knitting that up, which is and the pattern's, it is really easy pattern. It's really simple, great for beginners. I'd really recommend it. The Zigzag Cow, from I can't remember her surname on Ravelry, but if you search Zigzag Cow, it'll probably come up. Really, really gorgeous. Now, what Inga does, so this is going to be quite a good fit. It'll go round and it's going to be quite loose. But what Inga does with hers, or did with hers, is she put it in the washing machine and felted it. Because this is 100% wool, it will felt quite well. And she said that by felting it, it slightly fuzzied it up, but it also slightly shrunk it and made it a lot warmer, a lot thicker, because there wasn't like the air gaps sort of through the back. And it stood up better. So when she had it around her neck, it was close and it stood up and it really held the wind in. So I might do that. I'm not sure. I'm going to wait till I've finished. Obviously, I'm not going to put it in the washing machine unfinished, but I'm going to wait till I'm finished before I make a decision. See what it looks like on, and then I might felt it to make it thicker and warmer. But I haven't decided. But it's coming on quite quick. I only cast it on few days ago, and yeah, so I think this will be finished in a couple of weeks. So excited to wear that one. Right, that's my last whip. I have got something to show you and I've left it downstairs, so I'm going to run down and get it. 2 seconds. Okay, I'm back. Oh, ran downstairs. All the girls are sitting in the living room doing quiet things. Like, it's amazing. They're not normally quiet. What time is it? Oh, it's only 1:45, so not too bad. So I thought I would show you the advents I got for Christmas. So you've seen my Vicky Brown one because it's my Festive Cheer Cow, and if you've been watching my vlogmases, wow, breath, I've only run up and downstairs. It's because we're just not getting the same level of exercise as we were before. And we can only go out once a day, and we're trying not to use the car for our exercise because we don't want to, like, yeah, we've got to stay close to home. Anyway, I had, on my last Vlogmas was, I did a little video of my Beehive Yarns advent, showing you the colours on there. So if you want to see that one, you can go to my last Vlogmas. But I also had an advent from Green Lambkin Yarns. I'm not going to be able to show you through the whole lot because obviously there's 24 minis here, but look at that basket of deliciousness. They're all Stellina. Look at that. Absolutely gorgeous. And there is probably a fade in here somewhere. Oh, look. Look at all the... I'm trying to show it to you. Look at all the colours, and the tags are sort of shiny. I'm not showing this off very well at all, am I? Let me try and hold a few up just so you get an idea. Because the tags are shiny, it's creating a bit of a glare. But there's, I'll drop one. There's some of the colours, so yellows, blues, pinks, lovely like mermaidy green colour, more pinks and purples and greens. It's really, really hard to show this. Yeah, look at those. So they're all really beautiful colours. They've all got Stellina. So I don't know what to do with this one. I was thinking of a cowl. I don't know if Stellina in a cowl would be too much, or is it not too much? I don't know. I also quite like the Full of Minis hat. So I think that would be nice. It would be really bright, really sparkly. I don't know anyway. So I've got this basket of gorgeous yarn. So I've got that one. Oh, ow, that was my elbow. I've got that one ready to do something with. I also did a swap with my friend Cherie from the Ollie and Bella podcast, and we did a Kate Celine swap. Basically, we sort of said to each other, "Oh, I really want some Kate Celine yarn," and then she said, "Oh, I really want some Kate Celine yarn." We both said it, and then we said, well, "Why don't we just buy it for each other? It can be like an advent." So we bought 12 minis from Kate Celine, and we wrapped them up. We labelled them for each other, and we opened one, started on Christmas Day, and we did the 12 days of Christmas. So how am I going to show you this? So I'll show you the minis that Cherie got me. I'll show you them a bit at a time. So there's the first 5. Actually, it would make sense to show 6, wouldn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I won't be able to hold them otherwise. 6. So there's the first ones I got. Aren't they gorgeous? Oh, drop one. And then the next 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So blues and reds and other really, really gorgeous colours. Look at those. So I've got 12 minis from Kate Celine that I don't know what I'm going to do with those either. So that's really exciting. But I can get about, I reckon, I can get 10 of them into a really nice fade with 2 that don't quite fit. So I've got 10 there that I can use for something. So that's what, 10, that's 100 grams. It's like a whole ball. So I've got that in this bag, ready to be made into something. And I also bought the Mr. and Mrs. Rabbit Yarns 12 Days of Christmas Liberty yarn box. And this was gorgeous, really, really gorgeous. So I started it Christmas Day. It was my main present for Christmas from my husband. I'm going to try and put these, I'm not going to put them in order, it won't matter. So I'm going to try and show you these. I'll show you 3 at a time. But they come already sort of caked up. That's her label. Look, Mr. and Mrs. That sun is a bit, there we go, Mr. and Mrs. Rabbit yarns, and this one happened to be box 11, 12 Days of Christmas box, and it was all inspired by Liberty fabrics. So they're all, so that's 3 of them. Really, really gorgeous colours. She just has a real talent for picking out colours that's in a fabric or a picture and making it come to life as yarn. That's another 3. Look at this one. It's like really tropical, tutti frutti. It's coming out a little bit darker on camera than they are in real life. This one's a bit paler than that, but it's those 3. And grab another 3. It's those, whoops, those ones. Really lovely colours. And the last 3 are these ones here, a blue and a more greeny, and this one here again, like really tropical colour. So I've got all 12 of those, and I don't think I can pick up all 12 at once. I was going to try. It's not going to happen. I can't pick up all 12. Anyway, so I've got those. And I have no idea what I'm going to make with those. But with them came a little square of the matching fabric. So can you see? You get like there was a little tiny square of matching fabric that matched the yarn. So, so this one, for example, I'm not going to remember which day it was. Was it this one? Yeah, it was day number 1. So can you see she's managed to perfectly pick out the colours of that bit of fabric in that yarn. And the one on the back, so the purpley one is that one, yeah. And look, you can see perfectly picking out all the beautiful colours. So I don't, precious bits of Liberty fabric as well. So yeah, I really don't know what I'm going to do. They're such variegated colours. They really deserve to be something together as a unit, but I don't know what. So yeah. And as part of the Advent, there was a little gift every single day. I've got some of them here. Some of them I ate, some of them I drank. But so there was a little sort of, I'll just pick one out for you. There was a little bit of paper, a little note inside each one. So this one, yeah, this one here is a carrot and coconut soup recipe. So that was inside one day. And then this one here is just a little quote from Mrs. Rabbit. And there was a gingerbread recipe. What else was there? Just a little quote from Lord Tennyson. There was something stuck there, which is why it's not there. It's just a little quote. So there was something like that inside every day to open as well. And a few little gifts. So I got there's a little tapestry hoop, an embroidery hoop, little embroidery yarn, a rubber finger thumb, whatever you call them, little lavender pouch, like holly on that side and sparkles. There was a few stitch markers, a couple of little tree sort of or hangy decorations. That little, you can hear the bell, but this little one here, like, is that coming out? Really beautiful little angel. There was this cute little tin with some pins. I don't want to hold it up, they're all going to fall out. Some pins inside. Some little wooden balls. I think they're wooden balls. I spent a long time trying to work out if they were truffles or wooden balls. And I think they're wooden balls. I hadn't eaten them. Oh, thank goodness. If you're watching, Claire, Mrs. Rabbit, just confirm they are wooden. I don't want to, you know, I should just open it and check, but I didn't want to open them. So I've got those. So there's that. So that's something I can look forward to this year, something to make with those. Just waiting for the right project to come along and yeah, make something with that. And I got this for Christmas as well. I sort of bought it for myself, but you know, my husband gave it to me. And it's this giant bag. It's got huge straps. You can see how big it is. It is a giant bag. And it's, what's it got on it? Knitting stuff. And it's a gorgeous grey. Really like a beautiful grey fabric. And this is like flocked. It's really soft. Screen printed. I think it's not screen printed. I think it's stuck on, printed and stuck on. And it's like a flocked feel to it. So that says knitting stuff. And that was by My Bags of Stuff. And you can get them personalised to say anything. So all the children received one that said their names and stuff. And my husband got one that had Scout stuff on it. And I got this one for myself. So my unused advents are being held in here at the moment. But I can see this being a kind of big throw project bag or a big jumper or, yeah, something like that. So what else? So that's it really for whips and yarn and acquisitions and stuff like that. I have had a few acquisitions, but I've put everything away since that I got for Christmas. So it'll crop up when I use it throughout the year, and I'll tell you about it then. So I thought I would talk a little bit about, because acquisitions are part of this, and I've seen people do sort of reflections and intentions. So reflecting on last year, and I'm gonna stick to knitting reflections, otherwise we could be here a very long time. My reflections from last year. So last year was the year 2020 when I really got interested in knitting sort of big time, more often. Really sort of had a proper look around Ravelry, got more into it on Instagram. yeah, it was the year I really got interested, and it's the year I discovered indie dyed yarn. And before that, I'd only ever sort of bought acrylic stuff from Wool Warehouse or my local pound shop. And I started buying yarn, not loads of it, but every now and then I'd see a pretty skein and I'd buy it and put it in my basket and have it in my drawer, trying to build up a stash. And I knitted some lovely things, and I've got loads of great ideas for next year. So that was really good. But I think there's two things I'll take from this year going forward. One is to be more mindful in the yarn that I buy. So I'm not necessarily saying I'm going to buy indie dyed yarn all the time, or I'm gonna stop buying commercial yarn, because I think there's still a place for commercial yarn. I like to use it for garments, I think, and cheap projects for my children. But where I was buying, I've built up a little bit of a stash now, so I've probably got about 10, no more than 10 full-size 100-gram skeins of yarn, and all the minis from my advents. So that is my stash at the moment. But while I may have sort of 9 or 10 skeins of yarn, they're all different. None of them fit. They're not like, they're all quite heavily patterned or variegated. And I bought them because they're pretty, and they still are pretty, and I will use them. But I think I'm going to be more mindful in buying yarn for a project. So if I've got a project I want to do, I will think about the yarn I'll need for that and buy it. Because if I want to make a jumper or a hat, I haven't got the right skeins for that. And while I have some pretty skeins, and they'll be great for socks or one-off projects or little things, bits and bobs and things like that. So it's good to have a stash for those reasons. I'm definitely going to be more mindful going forward in what yarn I buy. So I'm buying the yarn for the Rainbow Chronicles this year. And then I'm going to buy for projects as and when I sort of decide to cast a project on. And the other thing is actually what I'm knitting. So I got so caught up in the excitement of like Instagram, Ravelry, podcasts, seeing what people are making, like, right, I'm going to cast that on right now, I love it. Get some yarn, cast it on, get halfway through the project and think, oh, do you know, I actually don't want this. it's not going to fit with my wardrobe, it's not my style, I don't need 10 hats. And I am going to try and build up a little bit of a gift knit basket this year. I've already had people at work say they liked what I've been wearing and things like that, and they, oh, I'd like to buy one of those off you. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to do commissions, but if throughout the course of the year I build up a little stash of extra things that I've made because I like the pattern but I don't want it, then maybe I'll think about selling those to people at work or gifting those to my family. But yeah, I think I'm going to think carefully. I'm going to if I want to make something, I see a fabulous pattern, I'm going to put it in my Ravelry queue and leave it there for a little while before I cast it on, just to make sure it is really what I want to make. Yeah, so I think that's the two things I took out of 2020. Going into 2021, another Christmas present I got this year was this gorgeous journal off my parents, lovely yellow journal. It's got a elastic around the front, and I'm going to keep a knitting journal. I thought it would be really, this is the brand of the journal. It just got it off of Amazon. I just thought it would be really lovely for me to look back on, but also when I'm older and my children, when I'm no longer of this world, my children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren can look back at the projects that I've done, and I'm hoping it will become a lovely keepsake. So with that in mind, it's a dotted notebook. You can see all the little dots. I've got a few things that I haven't put in here yet, so there's a few blank pages at the start. But I've made a start on some pages. So here are my knitting plans for 2021. So I've got a few on here already, as you can see. So far I've got like the Rainbow Sock Chronicles, Litmus Cowl. I'd like to make a Whitmore sweater, my Zigzag Cowl. I want to make my husband a hat and a cowl. And anytime I think of something that I definitely want to make that year, so it's been in my Ravelry queue a while, I'm like, yeah, still want to make it, still love it, it's going to go in here. And I've saved a couple of extra pages so my knitting plans can fit over, and I'm going to log all the things that I want to do, and I'll tick them off as and when I do them. And if I don't do them, then maybe I'll do them next year, but that's fine. And then I've got, and then I'm going to have a knitting log. So that's my knitting log design. And I'm going to record the name of the project, the yarn I've used, when I cast it on and when I cast it off. So this is a really simple log, and that will just log everything that I've knitted. I haven't put on anything that I've not started this year, but when I finish a project, if I started it last year, I'll then add it in. That way I don't feel pressure that there's an empty space, like I've started something and not finished it. And I want this to be a complete record of everything I've finished, not what I've started and not finished. So it'll only go in here when I've cast it off. Having said that, I've put the Zigzag Cowl in and I haven't cast it off yet, but I know I'm going to. But I think moving forward, I'm only going to put it in here once I've cast it off. Then I've got my sock log. And I'm just going to, this is just going to be a picture, excuse the really dodgy drawing of a sock. And this is literally just going to be a picture of the sock and the name of the sock and a rough interpretation of the colours used. And I'd like to fill this up with at least 12 pairs of socks. There will be more. Yeah, socks for this year. Then, so that's my sock log. And then I've got knitting achievements. So I haven't jazzied this page up. So these are things new things I want to learn in knitting this year, things I want to achieve within my knitting. So I've got a colourwork cowl, which I'm in the process of doing, some colourwork socks. I want to learn how to do a provisional cast on. I need to do that for my litmus cowl, so that will be my next cast on, my next practice of that. I've put down 2 at a time socks magic loop because I've only ever done socks on DPNs and I really like that method. But I can see the benefit of doing 2 at a time socks, and so I think that's on my list of things to try. And brioche knitting, I want to try that as well because I've got the Vertices Unite cowl in my library, and that involves some brioche knitting, so I want to do that. And then I've got the actual Rainbow Sock Chronicles, so I've copied sort of So Sweet Violet's design. Again, some dodgy sock drawing, and can you spot this little blighter here, look, facing the wrong way? Trouble, there's always one, isn't there, that causes trouble. Anyway, and I'm just gonna again colour these in as I've done them throughout the year, and then I'm going to be a bit more specific with my projects. So when I finish a project, I'm going to do a project page. So this is the project for my January Rainbow Sock Chronicles. So project 1, and on here I've listed the needles, the yarn, the pattern details, so how many stitches I cast on, how many I did in the rib, how many minis I used for that one, what heel I did, how many stitches I knitted for the heel turn, and what I picked up for the gusset, and which toe I did. So I'm going to record that in here as well. And that's it so far. There might be other things I think about that I'd like to keep in here, that will be important, but at the moment that's what I've done. I don't know if anyone else is keeping a knitting log this year. What sort of things are you putting in yours? Have you done like a bullet journal page for knitting before? What did you put on it? Because I'd like, if there's anything else, I'd like some ideas for this. So I'm excited to keep this as I go along. Yeah, it'll be a really nice record of my sort of second year of knitting. Yeah, so that's it really. My intentions are to keep this up. I want to do a few more garments this year. Like I say, I want to do the Whitmore sweater. A love note is also on my radar. I want to do a big chunky cardigan. Socks. Socks. I want to finish those knitted animals that I started in October for my daughters. I've got all the yarn for it, so I really want to get those finished. Yeah, so I think that's it for knitting related stuff. Just some general chatter. There isn't a lot because we're not doing a lot. We're trying to, obviously I said we're in a lockdown, so we're trying to get out for a little walk every day just to get our legs refreshed. My children are attending Educare in school, which is the schools are staying open for children of key workers and vulnerable students. And because I work in a school and I'm having to go in at least 2 days every week, sometimes 3, and my husband is a key worker who works shifts, so my children are going to school when both me and my husband have to be at work. So it's not every day of the week. They were in 2 days last week, they're in 3 days next week. So they're getting some form of decent education while they're in there. And the days that they're at home, either me or my husband, depending on who happens to be at home that day, I will still have to work from home on the days that I'm not in physically in work. But I will try and do as much of it as I can with them. My youngest is only 6 and her homeworking is quite interactive. It's quite a lot of parental involvement. So I don't know how much of that will get done, but we will do our best, and that's all any of us can do. So yeah, we are getting out for a walk every day to stretch our legs. We're just walking from home. I think we've gone out in the car a couple of times, maybe to take the bikes somewhere a bit, because we live on a quite hilly area, so they can't really cycle their bikes here. So we need to go a bit slightly further afield, only like 2 miles away from the house, but somewhere where it's a bit flatter and a bit more space for them to ride their bikes. But otherwise we're walking from home. I'm going to try and do some baking. I got some bread, quite a lot of bread flour left over from the first lockdown. So I want to bake quite a bit more bread, I think. And generally this year I'd like to be more mindful of what I buy and what I use and where it comes from. I want to try and buy local as much as possible. I think particularly with, and I'm not going to get political here, particularly with Brexit, I think it's really important if I can shop local as much as possible to try and, yeah, just to support local businesses and things like that. So I've already started thinking about Christmas next year, and I set up my Christmas spreadsheet and I bought a few things in the sale for the girls for next year. But again, I'm going to be more mindful about that as well, more homemade gifts and things that I think they'll really need and treasure. And I know plastic rubbish and toys is still important. You know, when you're 6, 7 years old, you still want to open a Barbie doll or some plastic rubbish, a cuddly toy. You know, you still want it, and that, I totally get that. And they will still have some things like that, but maybe not as much as they've had in the past. And yeah, so we're not doing an awful lot, so there isn't an awful lot of chatter to talk about. We're in a lockdown until at least half term, which is the middle of February. There's rumours it could go on till Easter, so chatter's going to be few and far between. But hopefully I'll have quite a bit of knitting to share with you. I hope to be back sort of at least once a month, more if I've got more to show you. Next time I really want to show you these books that bought for my children, bought for my daughters, that we read every night. I meant to bring them in today, but I think this is getting quite long now, so and I think the rest of the family want to come upstairs and play in their bedrooms, so I'm going to go and release the family from the living room. And I'm doing a roast dinner tonight, so I've got chicken in the slow cooker, so I need to make some Yorkshire puddings and some roast potatoes, and we've got some broccoli. So that's tasty, sounds tasty. And then tomorrow I might make some chocolate brownies. But I hope you've all had a lovely Christmas and New Year where possible. I hope you're all safe and well. And yeah, I'd love to have a chatter with you in the comments. If you want to subscribe and like, that would be wonderful too. Yeah, and I will see you again soon. Bye.